How to think in English and stop translating. If you want to speak English fluently, you need to stop translating in your head. But how do you start thinking in English like a native? In this episode, we explore practical strategies, mindset shifts, and real-life habits that will help you train your brain to live in English, without switching back and forth between languages. One of the most common challenges English learners face is the habit of mentally translating every word or sentence before speaking or understanding. This habit, while natural at the beginning stages of learning, eventually becomes a major obstacle to fluency. When you translate from your native language to English, your brain takes an extra step, a delay that disrupts your rhythm, confidence, and natural flow. Imagine trying to dance to music, but always one step behind the beat. That's what translation does to language fluency. The goal of fluency is to think directly in English. This means your thoughts and responses are formed in English without detouring through your first language. To achieve this, your brain needs consistent input and exposure to English, not just through textbooks, but through immersive real-world language experiences. Think about how children learn to speak. They don't start with translation, they start with association. They connect words with actions, feelings, and objects directly. As an adult, you can mirror this by retraining your mind to form new language pathways. One powerful technique is called language anchoring. It means attaching English words and expressions directly to the things you see, hear, or feel, without the filter of your native language. For example, when you see a chair, think chair, not your translation. When you're thirsty, think I'm thirsty, not a translated version. This process might feel unnatural at first, but with time, your brain adapts. The key is to create an English environment around you, even if you're in a non-English speaking country. Start by labeling objects in your home with sticky notes in English. Your fridge becomes fridge, your mirror becomes mirror, and so on. Each time you touch, see, or use these items, say their English names out loud or in your mind. You're training your brain to make English your default language for naming and interacting with the world. This method, though simple, is deeply effective in rewiring your thinking patterns. Another essential habit is narrating your actions in English as you go through your day. When you wake up, think, I'm getting out of bed. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making coffee. Even if you don't say these things out loud, just thinking them in English trains your inner voice. This voice is the bridge between your thoughts and your speech. The more you use it in English, the less you rely on translation. Listening plays a vital role too. Choose English content that's just slightly above your current level and listen daily. Focus on the rhythm, structure, and vocabulary. Don't just aim to understand, aim to absorb. Repetition helps. Listen to the same podcast or video multiple times. Each time, your brain catches more and gradually stops translating and starts recognizing phrases as whole units of meaning. Speaking is another pillar of thinking in English. Many learners wait until they're ready to speak. But the truth is, speaking is not the final step of learning. It's part of the learning process itself. Speak early and often, even if it's just to yourself. Shadowing is a technique where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say instantly, matching their rhythm and pronunciation. This method forces your brain to think in English because there's no time to translate. You can also use thought prompts throughout the day. For instance, every time you open your phone, think in English. What am I checking? Who messaged me? When walking outside, describe your surroundings in English. The sky is cloudy. That car is red. There's a woman walking her dog. These tiny moments build your fluency muscles just like micro-exercises build physical strength. One overlooked trick is to change your phone and device settings to English. It might seem small, but it forces your mind to interact with everyday tasks in English. Even reading the words settings, battery, or notifications repeatedly helps reinforce English thinking. The goal is not perfection. It's persistence. The more you surround yourself with English, the less room there is for your native language to interfere. Journaling in English every day is another practical tool. Write about your day, your plans, your thoughts. It can be as short as a paragraph or just a few lines. Don't worry about grammar or mistakes. The purpose is to express your ideas in English without filtering. Over time, your writing will become more natural, and so will your thinking. Reading your journal entries later will also show your progress, which is incredibly motivating. Meditation and mindfulness can even help. Spend a few minutes visualizing a conversation in English. Picture yourself ordering coffee, asking for directions, or having a casual chat. Imagine not just the words, but the tone, the confidence, the body language. Visualization primes your brain and reduces anxiety, making real-life conversations smoother and more automatic. A great mindset shift is to stop fearing mistakes. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. They're not signs of failure. In fact, making mistakes while speaking English helps your brain learn faster, especially if you get corrected or self-correct. Celebrate your efforts, and don't compare your journey with others. Everyone learns at a different pace, and fluency is not a destination, but a lifestyle. Finally, surround yourself with English as much as possible. Follow English-speaking YouTubers, join language exchange apps, comment on posts in English, and make friends who want to practice with you. The more English becomes part of your world, the less you'll rely on translation. Slowly, your brain will accept English not as a foreign language, but as a second nature. Thinking in English is not simply about speed, it's about freedom. The freedom to express, understand, and respond without friction. It's the difference between walking through water and gliding through air. To develop this fluidity, you must eliminate the middleman, your native language, from the communication process. But eliminating something isn't enough. You must replace it with something stronger. That replacement is habit, environment, and identity. One of the first changes you can make is to associate English not with school or study, but with your personal identity. Think of English as something that belongs to your life, not something you're forced to do. When you watch a movie in English, you're not just studying, you're experiencing the world through another lens. When you read in English, you're not completing homework. You're feeding your brain with new thoughts, perspectives, and voices. This shift from language student to language user is critical. Many learners unknowingly keep English separate from their daily reality. They study English for tests, for travel, or for work, but not as part of who they are. To stop translating, English must enter your personal narrative. What do you think about during the day? Your to-do list? Your dreams? Your frustrations? Start expressing these in English, even if only in your mind. Make English your tool for thinking, not just a subject to learn. Another useful approach is the use of mental images. When you hear or read a word in English, visualize it instantly. For example, hearing apple should trigger the image of an apple, not the translation of sieve. This visual connection strengthens your brain's ability to link language with direct meaning. In fact, this is how infants learn, not through translation, but through direct association. The goal is to create a mental world where English is the native language of your thoughts. To build this world, you need to live partially in English every day. One way is through internal dialogues. Instead of thinking, "I need to buy bread," in your language, say it in English. "I need to buy some bread later." If you make a mistake, correct yourself silently and move on. This self-talk creates neural pathways that over time become automatic. Just like walking becomes automatic after years of practice, so can thinking in English. Use simple if-then prompts in your daily routines. For example, if I enter the kitchen, I will think about what I'm doing in English. Or, if I walk outside, I will describe everything I see in English. These cues create triggers for language use, and soon enough, English will pop into your thoughts without effort. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present and consistent. A fun and effective trick is to give your emotions English labels. When you feel happy, think, "I'm happy." When you're anxious, say, "I feel nervous." This connects language with feelings, making it personal and deep. The more emotional weight you give to English, the more rooted it becomes in your mind. Language is not just information, it's how we feel and connect. That's why music and movies are so powerful in language learning. They tie English to emotion. Try watching short videos without subtitles and summarize them in your own words, aloud or in writing. This forces you to process ideas in English without depending on translation. At first, it might feel slow or awkward, but over time, you'll notice that your brain begins to process information more efficiently. Even better, talk to yourself about the video, debate with yourself, ask questions, and answer in English. This simulates real-life thinking. Engage in creative storytelling. Pick a random photo or scene and describe it in detail using only English. What's happening? What do you think the people are feeling? What happened before and what might happen next? Imagination combined with language training stimulates higher-level thinking and vocabulary. It also removes the pressure of being correct, allowing your brain to experiment with English freely. Another mental exercise is rephrasing. Take a simple sentence in English and express it in 3 different ways. For example, "I'm tired" can become "I feel exhausted," or "I need to rest," or "I don't have much energy right now." This builds flexibility and reduces the urge to translate word for word. It teaches your brain that English is not rigid. It's rich, dynamic, and adaptable. Record yourself speaking about a topic for a few minutes each day. Then listen back and write down what you said. This process helps you identify gaps in your fluency and thinking process. Don't be discouraged by mistakes. They're markers of growth. Over time, you'll notice smoother expression, more natural phrasing, and quicker access to vocabulary. Your thinking speed in English will improve as your confidence builds. Create mental categories in English. For instance, organize your thoughts into folders: food, travel, work, feelings, dreams. Every time you think about a category, switch to English. This compartmentalizes your thoughts and connects them directly to English vocabulary. Think of it as creating drawers in your brain labeled in English. When you open one, you pull out English thoughts. Avoid over-reliance on bilingual dictionaries. Instead, use English-to-English explanations. If you don't understand a word, look for definitions, examples, and synonyms, all in English. This prevents the mental habit of jumping back to your native language and encourages immersion. Even simple words can be understood in context if you allow your brain to stay in the English zone. Most importantly, forgive yourself for not being perfect. Thinking in a second language is a massive achievement. It takes time, patience, and a lot of mental effort. Some days will feel smooth, and others will be frustrating. But with each sentence you think in English, you're rewiring your brain. You're becoming bilingual, which is one of the most powerful mental upgrades a human can experience. Surround yourself with a mindset of curiosity. Ask yourself questions in English, explore answers in English, and celebrate small wins. Did you think in English for 1 minute? That's progress. Did you catch yourself translating and stop? That's awareness. Each step is part of a larger journey. Thinking in English is not a talent. It's a trainable skill. And every time you choose English, you're one step closer to fluency. To strengthen your ability to think in English, your environment needs to support it. This doesn't mean you have to move to an English-speaking country. It means you must bring English into every corner of your digital and physical life. Change your phone settings, computer interface, and social media language to English. Follow English-speaking creators, watch English news, and read articles on topics you love in English. The more English surrounds you, the more your brain will begin to treat it as a natural language of thought. Many learners underestimate the power of passive exposure. Just hearing English regularly, even without trying to understand every word, trains your brain to recognize patterns, rhythms, and common structures. Over time, your subconscious mind starts to absorb the logic of English, how sentences are built, how expressions are used, and what tone fits which situation. This passive training lays the foundation for active thinking. Build routines around your English thinking. For example, every morning, as you brush your teeth, think about your day in English. What are you going to do? Who will you see? What challenges might come? In the evening, review your day in English. What did you enjoy? What surprised you? What did you learn? These bookends to your day train your mind to reflect and plan in English. Don't underestimate the role of dreams and inner thoughts. Many learners begin to dream in English after consistent practice. This is not magic. It's your brain acknowledging English as part of your inner world. Encourage this by keeping a dream journal in English, even if it's simple. I dreamed about a train. I was lost. A man helped me. Over time, your dreams may evolve into full English narratives, which is a clear sign of deep mental integration. Embrace short bursts of thinking practice throughout the day. Use moments of waiting, in line, on the bus, or during a walk, to silently describe your surroundings in English. This creates micro-practice opportunities that add up. These are your language reps, like exercises for the brain. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to think in English for an hour a day. Just 5 minutes here and there can transform your fluency. Another powerful technique is shadowing. Listen to short segments of native English, from interviews, podcasts, or YouTube videos, and immediately repeat what you hear, word for word, with the same rhythm and tone. This mimics natural speech patterns and builds automaticity. It also trains your brain to process English in real time, reducing the mental delay caused by translation. Create categories of vocabulary based on your personal interests. If you love photography, learn and use photography-related terms in English. Talk to yourself about your camera settings, your favorite lighting, your editing process, all in English. Personalizing your vocabulary makes English feel like it belongs to you, not just a school subject. The more emotionally connected you are to the language, the deeper it sticks. Use role play in your mind. Imagine conversations with a friend, a teacher, or a stranger, all in English. Play both sides. For example, "Hi, how was your weekend?" "It was great. I went hiking in the mountains." This mental rehearsal builds confidence, even if you're not speaking aloud. It prepares your brain for real-life situations and reduces anxiety when speaking with others. Track your progress with a language journal. Every day, write a short entry about what you thought in English, how it felt, and what you struggled with. Over time, this becomes a map of your journey. You'll notice how much more fluid your thoughts become, and you'll also discover patterns in your mistakes, which you can then correct. Writing is thinking on paper, and in English, it's double training. If you encounter a concept that doesn't have a direct translation, resist the urge to switch back to your native language. Instead, describe it in English. For example, if you can't remember the word umbrella, you might say, "the thing you use when it rains." This forces your brain to stay in the language and to use creativity, which is exactly what fluent speakers do when they forget a word. Focus on function, not perfection. The goal of thinking in English is not to think perfectly, it's to think effectively. Your ideas don't have to be elegant or complex. They just have to make sense to you. Over time, elegance and accuracy will come. But if you wait for perfect grammar before thinking in English, you'll never start. Progress begins with action, not perfection. Set English-only times during your day. For example, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., everything you think, watch, read, or say must be in English. This mental commitment activates your brain's focus and strengthens the English muscle. You can gradually increase this window. What begins as 1 hour a day may turn into your entire internal dialogue being conducted in English. If you catch yourself translating, don't get frustrated. Notice it, pause, and try to reframe the thought directly in English. It's a sign of progress that you noticed it. Celebrate the awareness. Most learners translate without realizing it. The moment you catch the habit, you're already changing it. Create a vision of yourself as a fluent English thinker. Visualize it. Who are you? What do you do? How do you speak? What do your English thoughts sound like? This mental picture gives your brain a destination. Your mind loves to move toward clear images. If you can imagine yourself thinking fluently, you're already halfway there. Let that image guide your practice. Finally, be patient. Thinking in English is like building a new path through a forest. At first, the trail is rough, but every step you take makes the path clearer. Eventually, it becomes a road, then a highway. And one day, you won't even remember the time when you had to translate. English will just be there, as natural as your native tongue, flowing through your thoughts like a quiet stream. Immersing your mind in English also means you must learn to feel in English. Emotions are deeply tied to language. If every time you're excited or afraid or grateful you return to your native language in your thoughts, English remains a separate shell. Try expressing your feelings in English as they happen. Instead of thinking, Min hili khushhal shadam, train your brain to think, I'm really happy right now. This small shift roots English, not just in thought but in emotion. And that's where language becomes real and alive. Use English as your problem-solving tool. When facing a challenge, force yourself to brainstorm solutions in English. Ask yourself, what can I do about this situation? What are my options? What's the smartest next step? This connects English with high-level thinking, not just basic communication. It empowers you to use English as a tool for life, not only as a subject you study. Think in different registers. There's casual English for texting friends, formal English for presentations, humorous English for jokes, and emotional English for personal stories. Practice switching between them in your thoughts. This develops not only fluency, but flexibility. It helps you communicate more accurately and confidently in different social and professional settings. Use storytelling to train your thinking. Make up a short story in your mind about something you saw, a person you met, or a memory from your past. Use descriptive language. The old man on the bench was reading a torn newspaper. His coat was too big for his frame. He smiled at the pigeons as if they were his old friends. This kind of inner narrative builds fluency faster than vocabulary lists ever will. Language lives in story. Don't avoid your weaknesses. If you find yourself struggling with prepositions or tenses in your thoughts, that's an opportunity. Isolate those patterns and drill them through repetition. For example, spend a day practicing sentences with in, on, and at in your inner monologue. I'm sitting in the room, on the chair, at the table. This focused thinking corrects mistakes before they become habits. Recognize the difference between learning about English and using English. Watching grammar videos and reading rules has its place. But the magic happens when English becomes the vehicle of your thoughts. Shift your identity from student of English to English user. Say to yourself, I live part of my life in English. That mindset changes everything. Use your imagination to build English worlds in your mind. Imagine shopping in an English-speaking grocery store. Imagine being interviewed for a job in English. Walk through the conversation step by step. This rehearsal not only builds vocabulary, but gives you mental scripts for real-life situations. The more you imagine, the more prepared you become. Challenge yourself with creative thinking. Pose a question like, what would I do if I won $1 million? Or, what's my opinion on space travel? Then explore your answers, entirely in English. This pushes your mind into deeper levels of expression. It transforms English from a basic survival tool into a vehicle for reflection and self-expression. Celebrate mental milestones. The first time you realize you thought a full paragraph in English without noticing, pause and smile. The first time you catch yourself daydreaming in English, write it down. These are not small wins. They are signs of transformation. They mean your brain is evolving, adapting, and growing into a bilingual powerhouse. Balance speaking and thinking. While inner speech is crucial, speaking aloud cements fluency. Use apps, language partners, or AI voices to test your spoken English. But remember, even when you're silent, you can still be practicing. Language is shaped first in the mind, then by the mouth. Thinking in English is the bridge between knowledge and conversation. Give yourself permission to make mistakes, both mentally and verbally. Every time you hesitate, forget a word, or choose the wrong tense in your thoughts, gently correct yourself and move on. This self-correction process is how native speakers learn too. No one speaks or thinks perfectly all the time. What matters is persistence, not perfection. Surround yourself with people who support your English journey. Even if they don't speak English, tell them about your goal. Ask for a few quiet moments each day to think in English. This social permission gives you space to grow without guilt or shame. And if you find an English-speaking partner, practice mental dialogues with them before actual conversations. Prepare your mind before you speak. Use visuals to stimulate English thoughts. Look at a photo, painting, or scene around you and describe it in English. A child is running with a red balloon. The sky is cloudy but bright. The trees are bending slightly in the wind. Describing visuals activates multiple areas of the brain and helps lock in vocabulary with real-world associations. Create a language sanctuary. This can be a room, a corner, or even a digital space where everything is in English. Your books, music, posters, quotes, even your thoughts. This sanctuary becomes a safe and focused place where your mind learns that English is not something foreign. It's part of your inner world. When you're tired or emotional, your brain will naturally fall back into your first language. That's okay. Instead of fighting it, observe it, and then gently bring your thoughts back to English with simple sentences. I'm tired. I'll rest. Tomorrow is a new day. These moments of redirection build resilience and make English your emotional ally. Practice gratitude in English. Every evening, think of 3 things you're grateful for and express them mentally in English. I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful I'm learning a new language. Gratitude opens the mind and creates positive associations with English, making it a language of growth, not stress. Use questions to unlock thought. Ask yourself often, what do I believe? Why do I feel this way? How can I grow? Then answer, all in English. This makes English the language of your inner wisdom. It transforms you from a passive learner into an active thinker. And above all, trust the process. Thinking in English is not something that happens overnight, but it is happening. Every time you choose an English word instead of a translated one. Every time you pause and rephrase a sentence in your mind. Every time you catch yourself smiling after a fully formed English thought. That's growth. That's success. Eventually, English stops being something you switch into. It becomes part of who you are. You don't just speak English. You don't just think in English. You begin to live in English. And that's when the real magic begins. Thank you for joining this deep journey into learning how to truly think in English. If this episode helped you or inspired you, please share it with a friend and subscribe for more powerful episodes. Remember, the more you think in English, the more fluent you become. See you in the next episode.